Okay, so my thinking was this. I've got entire bundles of Zendikar Rising, Kaldheim, Strixhaven. I have not taken out of the plastic yet. So what do I need to do but go down and grab a pack of Modern Horizons 2? Well, so these booster packs are a lot pricier than their predecessor, Modern Horizons, which, if I recall correctly, I was getting for about $6.50 a pack up in Michigan anyway. But I go to my friendly local game store and I say, Modern Horizons 2, what do you got? And they go, draft boosters, set boosters. And I'm like, all right, how much are those? They're $10 each. So I went, there's 15 cards in a draft booster and 12 in a set booster. That math works itself out to give me a draft booster. There's also something called collector boosters, but I don't think I'm wealthy enough to pursue those. Anyway, here's the game. I'm going to crack this Modern Horizons 2 pack, and then we're going to look at the Modern Horizons one that was gifted to me by my brother, and compare and contrast and see which one comes up with more hits. Let's begin. Had to struggle with the Modern Horizons 2 wrapping here real quick, but alright. Let's see what we got. Alright, Orchard Strider for 4 and 2 green, or you can land cycle it. Okay, we got something so far. When an ETBs, create 2 food tokens, it's a 6/4. That seems like it's got some pretty good use to it. I might play that in a commander deck. CMC's a bit high. Gouged Zealot for 3 and a red. It's a 4/3 with reach. And Delirium. I haven't seen that since Innistrad, I think. Whenever Gouged Zealot attacks, if there are 4 more card types among cards in graveyard, deals 1 damage to each creature defending player controls. The Bane of the Weenie deck is what this is. Oh, that reminds me. Modern Horizons, they do have a whole sort of hodgepodge of different keywords and stuff, because this is going straight into Modern, so why not? Wow, lots of high casting cost right off the top. 4 and 2 blue, draw 3 cards, instant, land cycling. You know, I really enjoy my mana ramp, so land cycling always pleases me. Landscaper Kolos, a goat beast. Sounds like something you would call a guy at a frat. Like, hey, it's goat beast. Anyway, 6 to drop this one. 4/6 creature. ETBs put target card from an opponent's graveyard on the bottom of their library. Okay. I'm sure there's reasons to do that. I just don't know them. More land cycling. I didn't know that was such a huge thing in this. Vermin Gorger. Oh, is there a Gorger cycle? Is that what we're dealing with here? 1 and a black. Finally, something value priced. It's a 2/2 vampire. Tap, sacrifice another creature. Each opponent loses 2, you gain 2. Ooh. Well. Alright, I could see playing that. Lens Flare. So 4 and a white, and probably a long-term contract with J.J. Abrams for an instant. Affinity for artifacts. Ooh. Artifact decks are going to love that. Lens Flare deals 5 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. That's... yeesh. If you got a bunch of artifacts out there, that makes sense. But playing it straight for 5, no. Ooh, it's one of the sketchy ones. Abundant Harvest. I think we're on the uncommons now. Maybe. For 1 green, it's a sorcery. Choose land or non-land. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal the cards of the chosen kind. Put that card in your hand, the rest on the bottom in a random order. Alright. One of the things about these sketchy cards they did is that the flavor text is actually taken from whatever the official directions the art manager at Wizards gave to that artist. So, that's a nice little touch, I thought. Alright, what do we got here? Mind Collapse. I guess we weren't in the uncommons yet. 3 and a red. If it's your turn, sack a mountain rather than pay this spell's cost. Late game, I could see that, I guess. Mind Collapse deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Ooh. And it's an instant, so Planeswalker is about to drop an ultimate. I guess that would be a good time to whip this out in response. Goldmire Bridge taps for white or black, exactly what I need. I'm going to put that to the side. Wait, hold on. Enters tapped. It's indestructible. Yes, this is, I'm putting that immediately to the side. I'm keeping that. All right, Scour the Desert. This feels very Khans of Tarkir all of a sudden. Maybe, anyway. 3 white for sorcery. Exile target creature card from graveyard. You get X/1/1 white bird creature tokens with flying, where X is the exiled card's toughness. But it's in your graveyard, so you better make sure it's got a natural toughness that's pretty high. All right. Arcus Acolyte. It's a human cleric archer. It hits a lot of buttons right there. 2/2 for 2 with reach and lifelink and outlast. That's definitely some con stuff there. So you can pay white or green and tap it, and you put a 1/1 counter on it. You only would do that if you're able to untap it by your second main phase. So you would attack and then untap it, or if you gave it vigilance, or if you're just not doing anything with it that turn, then why not? It's not a great blocker, so. Each other creature you control without a 1/1 counter on it has outlast. Oh, that changes the game entirely. That's a good one. That's going to go into some Naya deck of mine, I'm sure. I'm building a Mardu right now. Specimen Collector, 4 and a blue for a Vidalcan Wizard, like, I don't know, colonoscopist or something. It's a 2/1. When Specimen Collector enters the battlefield, get a 1/1 green squirrel creature token and a 0/3 blue crab creature token. What? Okay. Squirrels and crabs, huh? When it dies, you get a token that's a copy of target token you control. So that, guess it depends on what else you got going in the deck, because when it dies, you get another squirrel. That doesn't really strike me as particularly awesome. Ooh, oh, ho, ho. Here's the rare Vindicate, 1 white black. So that's my colors. Destroy target permanent. Doesn't say what, doesn't say how, doesn't say why. Just so long as it doesn't have indestructible, it's gone. That creature that your opponent was putting like 31/1 counters on, gone. All right. That's pretty good. We'll see how much that much is worth. Oh, got another rare here. Academy Manufactor for 3 of any. Artifact creature assembly worker is a 1/3. If you would create a clue, food, or treasure token, instead create 1 of each. Oh, yeah, okay. That's good too. Oh, we got a shiny. Give it about 5 seconds before it curls up into a letter U. Phyrexian Imp. 3/2, flying, discard, add black. And it doesn't say how many you... Ooh, okay. So walk with me on this one. Hypothetical situation. You got, for some reason, you've had to draw a bunch of cards and you're going to have to discard the hand size at the end. Before you do that, play this. Well, assuming this is already out and doesn't have sickness, then you would use its discard a card, discard all the ones you don't want, crank up that black mana in your pool, and then, I don't know, fireball, whatever you got. So that has, for 5 though, I don't know if that's good for 5, but maybe. That's definitely a commander card. And we got a treasure token. Write it on pound note, pound note. Okay, so let's see, there were some winners in there. Let's see about Modern Horizons 1. I forgot they packed these ones in upside down. Okay. Phantom Ninja can't be blocked. I feel like that's a meme just waiting to happen, but 1 blue for a 2/2. Illusion Ninja. All right. Not bad. Imposter of the Sixth Pride. Well, guess what's going in my cat deck just for thematic art? 1 white for a 3/1, and it's a changeling. Could go into anything. I like that already. For 2, that is definitely not bad. Spinehorn Minotaur. As long as you've drawn 2 or more this turn, it gets double strike. There are many ways to make that happen. For 3, it's a 2/3 with double strike. That's okay. So far, Modern is kind of like Modern 1 is going nuts here. Azra Smoke Shaper. It's a creature, Azra Ninjizzle, my Bizzle, I don't know. Ninjutsu for 2. If you use that, then you return an unblocked attacker you control the hand. Put it onto the battlefield from your hand tapped and attacking. When DTBs, target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. So then the play there, and one, I doubt I would use this because there's a lot of steps to keep track of, but so you send your attackers. One of them just doesn't get blocked. They let it through for whatever reason. So you pay 1 in a black. That attacker goes back to your hand. This comes from whatever zone you have control of it, presumably your hand, so not a zone. That goes in, and then when it ETBs, then you control like some other thing that probably was getting blocked that you didn't want to die would then gain indestructible. So I can see uses for that. I mean, definitely. I just don't know if that fits my playstyle. An enchantment. Have we even got one of these yet? Treefolk Umbra, 2 green. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets 0/2 and assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. I love that. I figured out a pretty dirty trick to do with that back in the Shadows over Innistrad around that era, where you got Skulk, and then there was a Khans of Tarkir that would... It's a enchantment that's global, and everything assigns based on toughness, and then as long as its power was 1 or less, with Skulk you couldn't block it, and it was like pretty dirty. Totem Armor. If this creature would be destroyed, instead remove all damage from it, destroy this aura. Well, all right, yeah, I would use that. Pyrophobia. 1 in a red, sorcery, deals 3 damage to target creature. Cowards can't block. So cowards are a thing that they started in, Future Sight? Where they were just dropping all these different things. Like Contraptions is another one. There's some card in that, and I own it too, where it's like you can change some creature type to coward from your opponent, and then cowards can't block. And so, interesting. You'd have to have some way of making your enemy's creatures cowards, I guess, but there must be some way to do that, or why would they do it? Mind Rake, 2 in a black, sorcery, target player discards 2, or you can overload it, at which point each player would discard 2. But note that that would probably backfire on you if you had stuff you wanted to keep, because that's each player of which you are a player. So, also it discards 2 cards, not you get to pick. So that's one of those cards you play when you know what's in their hand and they've only got like 1 or 2 cards left and you just want to do them dirty. Pondering Mage for 3 blue for Human Wizard. When it ETBs, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back in any order. You may shuffle your library, draw a card. Well, that's some classic blue, but I mean, for 5? I mean, it is a creature too. It's a 3/4, so yeah, I guess I'd get it. Okay. Knight of Old Benalia. That's gotta be some... Is that in Innistrad? Where is Benalia? I swore it was. I'll have to look that up. Suspend 5. So you can either pay 3 white, or pay 1 white. If you do the 1 white, Then you put it into exile with 5 time counters. Every time you do an upkeep, you take one off, and when there's finally no more counters on it, the thing resolves. So it also has haste at that point. Oh, that's a good thing. So 3/3. When Knight of Old Vanilla enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get 1/1 until end of turn. The problem with Suspend 5 is that it gives your opponents a lot of time to prepare for it. Like, that's a good 5 turns where anything that they could do as an answer to this thing coming out of exile, they're just going to hold on to it because they know it's coming. Assuming that 3/3 is something they would have to worry about. Like, if you had a weenie deck and like suddenly 20 1/1 goblins became 2/2, that's a problem. But okay. Rank officer. So an officer that doesn't smell very good, I guess. I don't know. 3 and a black. Zombie soldier. ETBs, discard a card, or you may discard a card. If you do, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Okay. Pumps up your board state, I guess. For 1 and a black and tap this guy, you can exile a creature card from your graveyard. Each opponent loses 2 life. Well, cleanup work there at the end of a game, maybe. All right. Thundering Djinn for 3 blue-red. Whenever it attacks, it deals damage to any target equal to the number of cards you've drawn this turn. That's one of those things where definitely in its blue, so there's all these cards where it's like draw half your library. So any target, draw half your library. In Commander, that would basically win you the game usually, but I don't know. Again, wait, is that the rare? No, that is an uncommon. As is this, Sling Gang Lieutenant. A goblin! Going in the goblin deck. When Sling Gang Lieutenant enters the battlefield for 3 and a black, and you get a 1/1, you also create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. So you'll need to be playing... Well, if you're playing Modern, you can just play black, I guess. If you're playing Commander, you would have to play red and black for this thing to work, I would imagine. But I'd have to look that up. Because it doesn't actually have a red casting cost. That's weird. I'm going to look that up. Sacrifice a goblin. Target player loses 1 life. You gain 1 life. That's dirty. Rebuild is another uncommon. 2 and a blue. Return all artifacts to their owner's hands. Oof. That would be devastating if you knew you were playing an opponent with an artifact-heavy deck. I mean, that's a sideboard card if there ever was one. You can also cycle it if they aren't playing an artifact-heavy deck, so lots of things you can do with that one, actually. There's your rare Collected Conjuring for 2 blue-red. What the frick? Alright. Sorcery, exile the top 6 cards. You may cast up to 2 sorcery cards with... It says convert a mana cost. I can talk really, but nowadays it's called a mana value. So with mana value 3 or less from among them, without paying their mana costs, put the exiled cards not cast this way on the bottom in a random order. Okay, so you truck that thing out when you're needing some kind of... Like, you gotta switch things up or everything's gonna start falling apart. We got us a snow-covered swamp. Got an art card, which is Goblin Matron by Jesper Ising, so that's going to have to go at least around the Goblin deck, I guess. I don't know. And we got us a bear token, which is also a shapeshifter token. Ah, okay. So let's try that again. Shapeshifter. Bear. Shapeshifter. All right. So, well, I'll look up the values, but in terms of game utility, once again, I think Modern Horizons has gotten stuff that I specifically could use, but there were some goodies in the other one too. So, anyway, hope this was entertaining. I really need to get my voice like more calm so I could do these things and make it ASMR, I guess. But, talk to you soon. Have a magical day.